So, how is everyone? I hope you're all well. I think what we'll do first of all, because I know you guys love it, is head over to Dogcat. Look, he's actually awake, ain't you? Hello. He's actually awake. Look, eating stuff that he shouldn't be. That's actually a lumbar support for a chair that he has managed to find. And despite the abundance of toys that I've tried to put around him so he doesn't eat what he's not supposed to, he keeps going and finding this lumbar support. And if I put it out of his reach, he goes absolutely bananas. So I've just decided that, do you know what? You can have it. It's all yours. Do what you please. But we'll come back to him in a bit because obviously we need to make sure that he's not eating anything that he really shouldn't be, like the other day. So, the Idaho case. There's a lot of stuff going on, guys, isn't there? A lot of stuff. First of all, I just want to touch on... So, I'd done a community post yesterday, and it was basically... supposedly a friend of Xana's mum who had come to her rescue over a video that was put up that had touched on the history of Xana's mum and some of the things she'd been in connection with. And look, I get it. You've come to her defense and you didn't see what the purpose of that video was. Well, the purpose of that video is that, look, we have 4 young adults who have been slain, and we currently have no idea as to why, who, or anything. And when you have situations in the background that could potentially have impacted this case, then I feel that it's worth at least having a discussion about. So I don't appreciate when people come over to the channel and try and censor that, to try and tell people that it can only talk about things that are positive in nature. And look, we didn't go any further with it. We didn't go on and on and on and on, and we're done with it. But the message to anybody, do not come over to this channel with offerings of interviews, etc., or money or anything like that, and try and get me to change the way that this channel operates, because in advance, my response will always be this: fuck off. So, without further ado, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Where are we? So, we're hearing rumblings of stalkers. Stalkers. There might even be more than one stalker now. So, we went from targeted to non-targeted, back to targeted and untargeted, and then some confusion around that. Then we're back to targeted again, potentially targeted, no stalker. Now we've got 2 stalkers. Wow. I really don't honestly know what to say. And look, Xana's father has flipped his shit. And can you appreciate why he has? Do you know what I mean? What the fuck is going on around this case? There is nothing that seems to be straightforward with it. There seems to be such a lack of integrity and law enforcement, like the cars. How long does it take law enforcement to pick these cars up? And where have they put these cars? They've put them in like a public compound. They've not even locked them away. So they'll never, ever be able to be used as evidence in court regarding this case. Never, ever, ever. Because that would be a defence's dream. What? You want us to trust anything that's found in them cars when they were sat out with public access for God knows how long? So what a pointless waste of time that was. And then the flip-flopping backwards and forwards. But what are we saying about stalkers? So let me just share this with you, and we'll come to Jack S in a bit, so don't go anywhere if you want to speak about him. So what do we got? I've got to try and learn how to use this computer a bit more fluidly. So what was I? 3 weeks after the Idaho college students were found to have death off-campus house, Moscow police have said they are still looking into the possibility that one of the victims had a stalker. Really? Police outlined a situation in October when a man appeared to be following Kaylee Goncalves, one of the victims, outside a local business. According to a news release from the department, police said this was an isolated incident. Public doesn't have to be worried. And the man and an associate were trying to meet women at the business. So even that fucking sentence, it's isolated. They were trying to meet women. Did you see the contradiction even there? What they meant was isolated, only women weren't safe. Jesus. Right. Which police said was corroborated through additional investigation. I bet they didn't do a report on it, though. It was not an ongoing pattern of stalking. There is currently no evidence tying the two men to the killings, the release said. Last month, investigators looked extensively into hundreds of pieces of information about Goncalves having a stalker, but have not been able to verify or identify a stalker, police said. Police are still asking for tips from the public on information regarding a possible stalker. Investigators continue looking into information about Kaylee having a stalker. Information about a potential stalker or unusual occurrences should go through the tip line, according to the release. Goncalves, 21, along with roommates Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Kernodle's boyfriend Ethan Chapin, who did not live at the house, were found dead on November 13th. Police initially said the slayings took place after 1:45 a.m., but no one called 911 until noon the same day. In the update released Monday, police said the surviving roommates called friends to the home because they believe one of the victims had passed out and was not waking up. This prompted one of the surviving roommates to call 911 for an unconscious person. Police arrived and found all four victims. See, this again goes completely against the statement of what rarely happened with the 911 call. And this is like the latest news release. This was like 8 hours ago. And we're still going on about this fucking call. You know what I mean? We've already done over this call and realised that it wasn't quite that straightforward. One of the survivors didn't think that one of the murdered people had just simply passed out. In Saturday update, the Moscow Police Department said it's received more than 2,000 email tips, phone tips, and more than 1,000 submissions to an FBI link. The killings have unnerved the town of Moscow with its 26,000 residents because it had not had a recorded murder since 2015. Just goes on just to talk about weapons. They haven't got a weapon. Let's just check and make sure that he's not doing something he shouldn't be. He's now got a carrot. He loves that carrot. It's a little bit blurry. That camera's set to like a cinematic mode, so it blurs out the background to try and match this mirrorless, but there we go. Enjoy your carrot. At least you're not eating something that you shouldn't be. So, like I say, with regards to the stalker, it's still something that hasn't been confirmed or clarified. You know, we've heard numerous statements around this. So at the moment, I don't think there's anything solid about whether there was or was not a stalker. But we do have Jack S now. Oh, there. So Jack S, it seems to be confirmed that Jack S is indeed Hoodie Guy from the food truck. There is a few creators who are out there who have the footage that seem to show Hoodie Guy being told to fuck off, and you know he's acting quite suspicious on there, and it goes on to say how he is potentially disappeared somewhere in Africa. Africa, by the way, is a continent, it's not a country, just to clarify that. I know there was some confusion, but yeah, he is somewhere in the African continent. And who is he? Well, it would appear that there's some rumour that he is the adopted child of a family that consists of doctors, law enforcement, all sorts of things, but a money background, and they donate to this, that, and the other. Can any of that be completely and 100% corroborated? I can't myself find it. It might just be my lack of skill, but at the end of the day, we've got someone who was one of the last people to interact with these girls in a seemingly negative way and he's managed to leave the area. Not only that, leave the country, go to a continent that has a lack of extradition laws, so there isn't a lot that anybody can do about him being there. And we've still got no perpetrator, no weapon, no anything. And yet, when you look at his social media, there seems to be links that link him to K-bar usage, hunting usage. And I get the hunting thing. Look, it'll be harder to find someone who hasn't had some involvement at some point in their life, especially male, in hunting, because it's just something that happens. But look, again, we've got coincidences, haven't we? And we've talked about coincidences in other cases. How many coincidences have to slap you in the face before you think, hold on a second, something ain't right here? So the bare bones of it all is 4 victims, K-bar murder weapon or similar, no real clues to anything else right now, it would appear. And we've got somebody who interacted with them in the hours leading up to them in a negative fashion and has subsequently done a runner. Now, if that doesn't... I'm not saying he's done anything either. Look, everyone innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. But it doesn't look good, does it? But at least he's done another Jack a favour by looking even more sketchy than him. You know, I've heard lots of things being said. You know, Jack, the ex-boyfriend, was number one suspect in a lot of people's minds for a long time. There was a lot of people who had said,
look, it's not Jack. Jack's about 9 stone, wet through, and he couldn't even do anything.
Look, a lot of the pictures you guys were looking at show him a long time ago. He's subsequently put on a bit of timber. He's an athletic guy, and I'm sure he could have at least had a pop. But look, at the end of the day, we've got a few Jacks, we've got a few other people, we've got people who other people think are as dodgy as the Jacks and the other Jack, and but we do need to get a hold on this, law enforcement, don't we? We really do start needing to get to grips on what is going on. Again, like I said yesterday, parents are getting pissed off. Public are losing faith in what you're doing. You're flip-flopping from one thing to another. You know, even this stalker situation. 1 minute there is none, 1 minute there is, 1 minute there is again, then there's more than one. And it's just looking a little bit like a circus right now. And it's just not good enough. Don't know where you guys are. Who is your number one for this at this moment in time? Has all the information that's coming out regarding Jack S managed to push you out of focusing on the other Jack, the ex-boyfriend Jack? Let me know down below, and I'll catch you all in the next one.